Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. How you doing? How's your week? I'm back here, unique boy's mom. And I have one hot topic I want to discuss this week. So I saw the news about one of the richest women in Africa getting a divorce after 30 years, and that was what got me thinking. I mean, this woman is wealthy, this woman has a lot of money, and why didn't this happen sooner? Why is it after 30 years she's getting a divorce? It's it got me thinking. So you hear about people saying that they've been married for 30 years, they've been married for 25 years, and then all of a sudden you just hear that they're getting a divorce. And a lot of people are asking, okay, why are you guys getting a divorce? If you've stayed this long together, if you've stayed 30 years together, I mean, make it make sense. Why should you be divorcing your husband now or your wife now? Like, if you could tolerate them, this long, what's how many more years to stay together? Why can't you just stay together for the remaining number of years of your life? And it got me thinking about it. And based on my experience, I haven't been married 30 years or 20 years, but at least I have been married for 11 years, almost 11 years. And I can categorically tell you that I think that in marriage, there are a lot of things that people keep within themselves. They tolerate, they tolerate it for so long because of so many reasons. Now, people who have been married 30 years, 40 years, most times their kids have grown, and their kids are either on their own or they have moved on with their lives, they've gotten married and whatnot. And so you and your spouse, they are like left alone, and they start to see all of those things that they tolerated all these years. They start to see it in full blown form, like they see it and they get irritated by it, and they're like, okay, there are no children anymore for me to kind of deal with this. I mean, tolerate this because of my children, or tolerate this because we are trying to build a life together and all that. At that point in time, they feel like, okay, I am more or less fulfilled, and I can take a walk at this point, and nothing is going to go, like nothing is going, heaven is not going to fall, that kind of thing. So I think that's where the whole divorce stems from, when you've been married for so long and you've tolerated a lot of things, a lot of your spouse's um like weaknesses. You've tolerated it so much that you're like, at this point, there's nothing more you're staying for. Do you understand? You're not staying for the kids. The kids are grown, they've moved on with their lives. You're not staying because you need some sort of fulfillment or some sort of like assistance with bills, because at that point you're pretty much like, you've you've made a lot of money, or you are kind of like in a fulfilled state at that point in time. It's not like you're working for somebody, or you're working to take care of your children's school fees or your children's bills or whatnot, or you're trying to pull resources together. At that point in time, you feel like, you know what, I'm done. So I kind of feel that there are a lot of things that one could do before they get to that point, before they get to the 30 years mark, when, or 25 years mark, when they feel like, I'm done. I think that communication in marriage cannot be overemphasized, right? Even for me, sometimes I find it difficult to communicate some things, just because I don't want my partner to feel a certain kind of way, or I feel like I have said this again and again, but there are no changes. But ultimately, the main reason why a lot of these couples get to that stage, 30 years and beyond, and they decide at that point in time to break it off or divorce, is because the communication at the initial stage was not really there, right? Rather than communicate how they were feeling, rather than communicate their disappointment with their partner's behavior, or the fact that they don't like how their partner behaves in certain situations, they just bottle it up and be like, "Ugh, man, I just cannot, I just don't want to, I don't want fight, I don't want this," and they just bottle it up. And there's so much that the human heart can take, right? There's so much that the human heart can take. It gets to a point where you're like, I can't take this anymore. And when you have things bottled up, I don't know that it happens to you. That's why one of the reasons why I forgive easily. Because when I have things bottled up inside, it makes my heart heavy. It makes me like uncomfortable, So I can imagine people bottling things up for 30 years, 25 years, and they don't speak up, they don't speak out. Their partner never knows that, okay, they are not happy about certain things, So I feel like some of these things, some of these divorces can be um, avoided if people communicate, if partners communicate um, between themselves, to be honest, right? Now, I'm not saying that I am a saint to don't get it twisted, right? Every marriage comes with its own challenges. A lot of couples kind of hold off on, things, and like eventually after so many years they can't hold it anymore and they just want to move on with their lives. They just want to have a fresh start, so communicate better in marriage. Communication, talk. Even if you do not like talking, just try to communicate how you feel, because if you don't say something, your partner would never ever know that this thing hurts you or you're not comfortable with this thing. Okay, so I just thought to drop this about how I feel about divorces that happen several years later and what can be done to mitigate it. So thank you for joining my TED Talk. See you in my next video. Bye.